Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm gonna draw my life prison wife. I am the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all fades to black. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I'm coming through today. It is September the 11th, 2024. I was just about to go to bed, girl. I was gone to bed. When I was doing my little scrolling before I hit the sack and I seen this video come across my notifications. This is from Hip Hop Uncensored. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it. Tory Lanez fighting for his life in prison. So girl, I was like, I could cover this in the morning before I go to work or whatever, girl. But you know I ain't gonna get up early enough to cover this story, right? So I said it's better to just, it's like I just kept getting a nudge. It's better to just cover this now. I just left a couple messages, I'm sorry, comments on their video. And girl, I'm like, instead of all the messages, let me just review it. So I am reviewing the video from Hip Hop Uncensored, and it is Tory Lanez fighting for his life in prison. So let's listen to it, and I'm gonna chime in and give my little 2 cents, and then I'm gonna be going to bed. All right, let's listen.
Nobody wants to see him dead. He's probably escaped death and life sentences his whole life. Let's finally get it together.
Oh, I forgot to let you know. Okay, so I was covering the Tory Lanez story. Um, from the aspect, okay, I wasn't choosing no side, so I don't really know if he's innocent, guilty, or what. I know wrongful convictions. And first, like I say, I'm the OG prison wife. I have been fighting my husband's wrongful conviction for the last 22 years. And due to his wrongful conviction, my husband was snatched out of our household. He was 20 years old and he was wrongfully arrested when our daughter was just 2 months old. We literally raised our daughter together. She's 23, raised her through prison visits all over the backwoods of Florida. And if I don't break my husband's story, girl, he won't be free from his wrongful conviction until our 2-year-old granddaughter is almost 17 years old. That's how written in stone wrongful convictions be. Y'all can check out all the other stories. Y'all know I cover wrongful conviction stories. I've been covering the ones that hit the media, but I wanted to start doing, I've done a couple of where they're in petition phase, where I'm at. The hardest place to actually get any traction when you're trying to get your story heard, right? Um, I'm talking about being a prison wife and having to keep my family together. We're not criminals. We're not upholding criminal activity. We're not supporting criminals. We are people that are basically victims of this system. So let's cover this. This is oh, I'm sorry. So from the aspect of Tory Lanez, I covered his case from the aspect of knowing wrongful convictions, not necessarily saying that he's wrongfully or rightfully convicted. I don't like that people were passing judgment without knowing the insides and outsides of that case. Girl, you got to know a case front, back, left, right before you could go passing judgment, because I know how the system works and I know how to give you one side of the story, a one-sided story. I know how they take out information. I know how they put in information. I know how they obstruct things. I know how they put one against the other. I know the system, girl. I've had to live through this system. I had to fight this system for my husband, on behalf of my husband, with my husband. And it's just, I know I have a lot of knowledge that you would not have if you didn't hands-on deal with this system. Most people pass their judgment from the point of view of not really knowing how it works and just knowing the illusion that they told us that's the way it works. But you quickly realize, and I think Tory quickly realized once he ended up into that system how it truly it is basically versus how you think the system works versus how the system really works. Right? So let's listen to this story.
And live in a productive manner, hopefully, we'll see.
Sure. So Tory Lanez is speaking out.
Hope you can hear that.
To release an album
Yeah.
called Prison Tape, and his operation was shut down. The prison guards came in there, took his little makeshift studio, shut him down. He put out a lengthy statement about it, pretty much saying he was being targeted because what he was about to do. Yeah, now he said a couple.
Okay, so that kind of stuck out to me. You already know they gonna shut anything productive down. Because it ain't really about the rehabilitation like most people think. It ain't really about, it's about some other stuff. I got plenty of videos about that. The true purpose behind, the prison system. But I'm like, the first thing that I thought when I heard him say that is, it's almost like if you are trying to do those type of things, you can't really make your intentions outright known because they're not supporting that type of positivity. Do you know how much flack we get? I fight for criminal justice reform and prison reform. There is a great need for prison reform. Like, oh girl, I'm in so many prison reform groups. I'm in Florida, but we have I network, right? The prisons in Texas and Mississippi. Oh my gosh, did y'all hear that story about the prison in Mississippi that had, I can't even say it here, but they was doing some things. Like, if you know about Mississippi prisons, you know what story I'm talking about. When the people found many of their loved ones outed. And they didn't even notify them people, family or nothing. Like they were nothing. They treated them like they were nothing to nobody. Like they weren't even human. So there's a great need for prison reform, right? So if he is doing that type of stuff, you can't really be vocal. It's weird. It's like, how can you really say what you need to say without alerting everyone that's against the movement forward, right? So I don't know how he was putting that out like that. Like this is gonna alert the world that this is what he's trying to do. So that make it where they gonna be like, oh, okay, so let's shut that down. That's what he trying to do. Let's shut that down.
I want to kind of highlight, man, because he was doing some positive things. But since the first day I was incarcerated, all I've seen is blacks and other minorities receive the most cruel and illegal and unfair punishment.
Yeah, I believe that.
Treatment for so many nights. I asked God to reveal his purpose in making me go through the ills in the prison system. I was later shown that.
Now that sounds so familiar. When you do go through this type of stuff, I just did a video about that, like where it's like you almost want to find a purpose in it because you know this can't, this is cruel. This is cruel and unusual, right? So you know this can't be from God. So you know for you to be going through it, it has to be a purpose. God has to have some type of purpose that you have went through that jail, the jail that you went through. And I say jail because jail is hell. It has got to be a purpose in going through all of that. So you want to feel like you're not just being punished for no reason. It got to be something behind you being wrongfully incarcerated or fighting for someone wrongfully incarcerated. And to let you know, when a loved one goes to prison, that person takes their whole family with them. I've done 22 years wrongfully with my husband. Our daughter has done 22 years wrongfully with her father, right? You don't just affect that one person, you affect that person's family. And if it's a wrongful conviction, you also affect the family of the victim because they're not getting true justice. I literally just did a video on Benjamin Spencer where he was just exonerated. God dog it, the man did 34 years. And 37 years later, so 37 years, so 3 years after his doing the 34 wrongful years, they're coming back telling the victim family that, hey, we got the wrong person. So they don't even get justice. So what was the purpose in the whole wrongful conviction, right? But I don't know. It got to be a purpose in it, cause it.
Purpose. I was placed in jail to suffer, to feel, witness firsthand the pain and oppression being.
But the one thing I do want to say about Tory Lanez, and I got flack from that. I made a video about that. He got 10 years, right? I don't know if his sentence was minimum mandatory or if it was 10 years with like game time or whatever. But do you know that it takes well beyond 10 years to break a wrongful conviction story and actually get yourself free? So if you got 10 years, it's almost unheard of. I've reviewed one story where a man was wrongfully convicted and it took him 10 years to get out. That is unheard of. That is short time for wrongful convictions. The longest wrongful conviction that I've covered is 43 years. Kevin Strickland, 43 years. He did off of a wrongful 50-year sentence. Valentino Dixon did 27 years off of a wrongful conviction. And most times, my husband's done 22 years of a wrongful 40-year conviction. So most times you're going to do decades before possibly ever. And then there's those that have been exonerated after demise. They're gone, but yet they're exonerated after. And then there's those that were wrongfully, you know. So I mean, it's bad, but 10 years. Let me tell you, I held my husband down them first 10 years on a handstand. I would have loved to. My husband only been wrongfully convicted to 10 years. So though it sounds rough for him, he's still getting out when his kids are still like young, right? My daughter will be in her 40s. My daughter was 9 months old and attached to her father when he was snatched out of her life. But she will be in her 40s by the time he comes back home from a wrongful conviction. So he's coming home, the kids still ain't grown. And I'm to the point where I'm like, you know what, if you got an out date, if you got a release date, because I have to remind my husband is that you got a release date. You got 13 more wrongful years to do on your conviction, but you at least got an out. There's many people wrongfully convicted to life, and there's some that just will not ever see freedom again, right? Unless they got their stories broken or whatever. And it really ain't too many places you could, it ain't nowhere really to go, honestly. But 10 years, I believe God showed him favor there, just getting 10 years wrongful conviction. Even if it's wrongful, 10 years is a miracle.
inflicted upon young black, brown men and women, my generation. I knew I had to change this injustice, so I made a plan that when I got to prison, I would figure out.
And see, putting this out like this, they don't want that. Like, how? I don't know. Of course, they gonna stop you off in your tracks.
Way to record music and put all the proceeds towards legal representation of my fellow inmates.
And that sounds like what I tried to do. I started rapping. Y'all know I started rapping after I met Life Jennings. And I thought that I was going to break my husband's wrongful conviction story through one song that I wrote. I was going to get it big. I only wanted it to be big in my neighborhood. I wanted to get on the local radio. It tell the story. People say, oh, did that story really happen? Yeah, that really happened. I get to tell them the story. And then people realize how my husband didn't get a fair shot, how he is wrongfully convicted. And like you said, for legal representation, many people, that's the only reason they're wrongfully convicted, because they could not afford real legal representation, right? Because you already know that public, girl, the public defense. Okay, I don't know who they defended, but they defended. Girl, I had a song called Take the Plea. Now, this is not legal advice, but it's save your advice. If you accused in a crime, you better take the plea. You ain't got no money, you better take the plea. You ain't got a good lawyer, you better take the plea. Hey, take that from me. You take it to trial to see you up Shit's Creek. Yes, your girl Cadillac. But real talk, if you got a public, it's better to take the plea than to go to court with a public defender. And many people are behind bars. This is my opinion only. But many people behind bars because they could not afford real legal representation.
Giving them a once in a lifetime chance to go home to their families and appeal.
Do you know? I could only imagine that happening. I used to have that dream. That dream used to be so vivid. I just knew it was coming. But the longer justice actually takes to come, the more it seems like it's just a dream. Like that will never happen for you and your family. You see it happen for others, but you just don't ever. So to have somebody come through for real and actually help you, like, do you know? Do you know?
And resentenced. Although the higher-ups have stopped the prison tapes temporarily, they were too late to stop my overall plan. Since the month of July, I have afforded legal representation for 472 inmates.
That's a lot. 472. Man, if that's real, I'm gonna say God did put you in there. You are doing that conviction, wrongful or rightful, for a purpose. If that is true, it's for a purpose.
Actively reopened.
Because guarantee you, those 400 and some people wouldn't have got no. Do you know how hard? I don't care what type of legal grounds you have. Do you know how hard it is to get any kind of case reopened back into court, to get any motions heard, to get anything passed, to even get an appeal? You don't just get an appeal. Like, even with dealing with Tory Lanez case, I read the comments. People like, oh, you get an appeal. You get, no, you don't. You don't just get an appeal like that. You know how many appeals are denied, even when they have grounds? Like, you don't just get an appeal like that. So if he provided that for 400 and what do you say, 90 some people, girl, do you know that's a purpose? That's purpose.
476
Oh,
cases
76.
with the help of legal firm United
Wow.
People. So many inmates will be returned to their families and loved ones. I'm named.
We don't call them inmates. In our advocacy group, we call them incarcerated citizens. Inmate is made to so you look at them differently. You sit high and then you look down on them and call them an inmate. Inmate, such. No, baby, but for the grace of God, it could have been me or it could have been you. I got a song about that. Hey, what if it was you? And you were up the road and gone for some you didn't do, and it be decades for you get back home. Hey, what if it was you that was taken from your kids? Now they life you're missing. Your lucky stars, you better thank them. They're cheating in this wicked system. Cause Lord knows that it could have been. Yeah, it could have been you. Yeah, she girl Cadillac. Literally, any of us. We got a better chance of being wrongfully convicted and incarcerated than winning the lottery.
There's the Hands of God project. Lastly,
Wow, Hands of God
they don't want me
project.
saying they're doing this. So if anything happens to me, just know I went out.
They sure wouldn't want you to do it. I'm finna tell you. I'm finna tell you now.
Is of glory, trying to revolutionize the end of man.
And that's basically what my project Reach the World is. The same type of thing.
Incarceration. Air for our people. Oh man, that's kind of deep. Yeah, like we was joking it together. You talking revolution? You trying to talk revolution?
Oh man.
I ate them words in 30 seconds.
Man, look.
Malcolm X,
You remember a couple days ago when we was in here, you was showing me something to do. We knew he talked about he was a part of a movie and.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why Tory Lanez gives me that vibe, though. I love Tory Lanez, and I'm not saying he's lying.
Oh, boy.
I'm not saying he's lying, because I hope he's telling the truth with all that.
Right.
You helped over 400 people and did all this while you were behind bars, all while not even...
And if he did in that short of time, think about how many within 10 years. I think they'll get you up out of there for real if you are getting people home like that.
About yourself getting out, you were just helping these people. Then salute to you, kudos, brother. That you're doing some great things. But for some reason, oh God, for like some of that, got a little extra hot sauce on it. I feel like this is just a tiny bit embellished. And like I said, hopefully, only if I'm wrong, I got no problem saying I'm wrong. I want to be wrong, but
I mean, I don't know, bro. He kind of strikes me as that type of dude, though. Because even remember when he was like, people was leaving. They were saying that because the reason he got locked up was because. Remember that whole NFT thing? We was all on quarantine, and he was doing an NFT thing. He popped up and said, "I broke the internet. I broke it. I broke the code. $1,000,000." He was going crazy. Like, we don't need a label no more. All this. So he seems like the type of person that's like got that kind of spirit in him. So I mean, we don't know if all that stuff is true. What he's saying is behind bars, but he seems like the type of dude that would get in there and get inspired to really do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we shall see. Maybe we can look up what he's saying it is, but let's just see. Let's give it some time to see.
Hopefully,
because more information I think will come out about it. That'd be crazy if he's lying about it. I don't think so, but we'll see. But look, salute to him. Salute to him either way. Pretty much saying that he's doing this music thing to try to fund, prisoners and shit that's locked up unjustly. That's what
there's some of it. That would be for hip hop to actually give back now to the community, because the roots of hip hop, that's the roots of hip hop. It was something created to, got a song about that. Hip hop was in the streets, not industry. It was raw, rough, rugged, it was gritty. Hip hop shed light on things that wasn't mainstream, but not every picture that it paint was pretty. Hip hop was an expression of things that we've been suppressing, and now we, the people, finally had a voice. Music is so powerful, but we don't tap into that no more. And now the same art form we created now exploits us. Here's your girl Cadillac. So if he using hip hop and music to better our communities, man, that is bringing hip hop back to its roots. That's what it was created for. Before it was turned to be something that it wasn't. It's like I'm an artist, right? I'm an artist of many different forms. I could draw my face off. I could paint my face off. But it's like my best masterpiece getting up off that canvas and coming to attack me. Our art form has been a detriment to our communities. So for it to turn around and come back to its roots, man, that I'm telling you, if he is doing some stuff like that, then I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So we should say shout out to you if it's the truth, brother.
Shout out to you, period, bro. I feel like it's a little wolf ticking going on. But shout out to you regardless. Like I said,
We don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Last 10, 15 years or so when it comes to creating.
And Tory, if you is getting folks out of prison, like, girl, help your girl out. I've been a prison wife for like the last 22 years, girl. And I'm trying to get my husband home before Jesus come back. Like, can you help me, please? Like, for real. Hashtag free Marcello.
So salute to you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. That's all I got over here.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Well, another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast is in the books. Appreciate everybody listening in. Hey, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up.
All right. I hit the thumbs up, left him some messages, shared it to my post. But I just recovered the video of Hip Hop Uncensored, and it is Tory Lanez fighting for his life in prison. All right, girl, I gotta go to bed. I got work in the morning, but I had to do this video before I went to sleep. All right, see ya, girl, Cadillac.